Hello everyone, welcome back to Retrothon. I am Dishana, kicking off, looks like a little mini Castlevania block, which I am very happy to be a part of. I'm going to be playing through the first Castlevania game. As you can see from the splash screen, I'm going to be playing on the Japanese version instead of the North American release. We do this because the heart countdown at the end of each stage goes a lot faster on the Japanese version compared to the US, and that's pretty much it. The only difference is really. Alright, let's get going. Normally you start your timer at first control of Simon. I have my live split set up for Retrothon, so I don't have that buffer, but that's fine. So the first stage of Castlevania, we don't do anything really too fancy as far as the speedrun goes outside of what you might see in a casual playthrough. We're going to try to get an early stopwatch, which I failed there by running into a zombie, so that we can take a bat boost over this first little gap here. Normally, in the intended route, you go down into the basement with some mermen, and you come back up on the other side of a wall that you're not supposed to be able to get across. But we're going to time a jump and ride a bat with a damage boost over, save ourselves quite a bit of time. Going to stand here on the correct pixel and force this bat to drop a stopwatch for us. We're going to use that on the boss. Good. In a marathon, that might be one of the scariest parts of this entire game, because you can fail that bat boost so easily and just feel chagrined. So I'm going to try and set up a movement here on the bat to get him to die in one hit. You can take advantage of some interesting damage rules in this game. Did not time it correctly, but with the backup of the watch, not too big a deal. So if Simon takes damage on the exact same frame that he deals damage to an enemy, you'll deal extra damage. It's technically a glitch, but we do that, and then because Simon is standing on the stairs, he won't move at all, and so the damage, your damage hitbox stays out and just instantly kills the bat in one hit. Pretty neat to see, but it is frame perfect. You have to actually, there's one frame in which you can hit the attack button and get the hit off. So I'm moving on here to level 2, just a little bit of platforming. We're going to be grabbing 6 hearts minimum so that we can have the number that we need to take out Medusa. You can play the lottery with the candles here and just hope that you can get some small ones, or you can grab that big one at the end. It does lose you a couple of frames, but guarantees you're going to have the number of hearts. So I tend to like going for that card. Coming up here, the Crusher room. I remember having nightmares about trying to finish this room because they will kill you in one hit, but also if you have the stopwatch, they don't even really matter. Throw holy water here. The way that the sub-weapons work and the multipliers in this game is you have to hit 10 enemies with a sub-weapon, and then the game will start to drop a multiplier like this 2 we're about to pick up. But if you throw on an enemy that's static and takes multiple hits, like that bone pillar I threw the holy water at, each frame will count as a hit, and you'll instantly build up your combo multiplier, which is pretty nice. So, holy water, as you'll learn throughout the course of this run, is extremely broken. It stun locks enemies, it removes their damaging hitbox, and it deals damage over time. So we will just lock bosses in place with it and whip them down. So stage 3 is where the difficult part of the speedrun really begins, and as a casual run through can get really frustrating. There's a lot of pits to get knocked into. There's a lot of really annoying enemies that are throwing bones at you. There's birds that are unpredictable, and then the bridge leading up to the mummies can be a real hassle. This room in particular is a nightmare for a beginner runner. These birds decided to cooperate with me. Oh no, I let the axe drop. Alright, I'm actually gonna take a death here. Those birds were nice. I messed up. Because we can get that holy water back right there, it's not too big of a deal to take a death do the room over again. I really want to have that axe for the room that's coming up next so that I can grab a cross without losing too much time. Alright, birds. This is a bad pattern. Oh, okay. Alright, so that's what I was supposed to do. Throw the holy water to pick up the axe. So we use the axe in this room to pick up the cross, and then we're going to use the cross to kill the mummies. Holy water is exceptionally good, but the cross we can use to essentially one-shot the mummies. Taking advantage of, once again, the NES's programming quirks. Sprites are overlapping while damage boxes are overlapping. The invincibility frame rules get overwritten, and they just kind of melt. I'm going to take a little bit of a safe strategy here. The fastest run, you'll just jump over those bone pillars and call it a day. Health is looking a little spicy here. But you can run into the bone pillar, use your invincibility frames, and jump over that gap and be guaranteed to get through it 100% of the time. Whereas the fastest way, which is just jumping, there's only a couple of pixels in which Simon's feet will hold on to that block without dying. We should get a multiplier here. Health's a little low, which, you know, might be troublesome, but I'm going to take this extra safe. The mummy's movements is based on the direction Simon is facing, so I'm just going to stand here on the left and get them riled up into the corner, and we'll kill them in one hit. So level 4's got what I think is probably the most fun strategy to learn in a speedrun and saves a bunch of time. We're going to try and go for the cave skip. We're going to get up into the ceiling into an area where Simon is never supposed to be, but there are platforms. I believe it's so the mermen can be up there and they're spawning. But we're going to try and take advantage of it here. Skip some platformings that lose you some time. Oh, just barely made it. Excellent, excellent. So that skips having to wait for these moving platforms, and it saves a very large chunk of time. Alright, Fleeman Alley. This is a room where a lot of the time save in a speedrunner is going to come just nailing this section down over and over until you can hit the patterns every single time. Nothing, as long as you're holding right, everything in Castlevania works off of a frame rule. So, I don't know. Frame counter will start as soon as you enter a new room, and the enemy patterns are based on that. Some of the enemies aren't entirely dictated by the frame counter, but in that room in particular, as long as you're not losing any frames, you'll get the exact same pattern every time. I'm going to try and get a critical hit here on Frankenstein. You can throw some holy waters, whip him, and then take advantage of a strange hitbox mechanic while the enemies are moving. Just barely missed it. Their hitbox will actually extend out a little bit further than what their sprite shows or how it would normally seem. You can use that for both the Medusa fight and the Frankenstein fight and get a critical on them a little bit easier. Alright, moving on to level 5. This one's gotten a lot of attention in the past year or so. Not quite a year, but some human viable scroll glitches have become... Oh, nice, gotta watch it off early. Like I said, human viable, essentially. I'm gonna try and go for one of them in stage 14. There's one that you can do right on this first screen that saves a bunch of time. You skip this entire first section of this room. I have a very low success chance with the 13 scroll glitch, so I'm not even going to try. Moving on, jumping, throwing holy waters, killing Fleeman, hoping we get in hearts, and getting some. Smack this guy. That room looks so nice. It's not very hard to pull off, but it's a very elegant path through the room. Try and pick up some some extra hearts. In case I get the scroll glitch, I want to have a little bit of a heart buffer. I'll line up with these stairs. If I can get it. I'm too far over. Nope. Alright, I will try this one more time. Got it. Excellent, excellent. So what we do is we remove those 2 blocks from the wall, and we come over here, and when we hit this spot, for whatever reason, it thinks that I am on the door into the next room, and we've skipped a good chunk of that screen. Took a couple of tries, so a minor time gain at best at this point, but if you get that on the first try, and with the new wiggle strats, you saw I was kind of doing some whips while I was walking backwards there. You can do that without whipping. What's happening is, oh no, I'm talking and getting distracted. Hold on, we're gonna take some marathon safety here. Some Medusa heads. The way that the game does its tile sets and loads in these tiles, you can trick it into skipping past the frame in which it would actually load those blocks, and it just loads a different tile set instead. Super neat. There's a bunch of places that have become viable over the past few months that have really brought this world record time down. If you watch JC's newest world record, he just absolutely crushes the scroll glitches, gets some very impressive execution. Oh, death. Okay, that is perhaps the most costly death you can take in this run, and at 1 HP left is kind of awkward. But we will make do and hopefully get the cross back up kill. Oh no. This is off swimmingly. So I'm throwing my cross around here because, like I said earlier, you need to build up the multiplier by getting hits with your sub-weapons. So we'll just be killing a bunch of these enemies with the cross. Hopefully not taking too many hits with the axe. Knights. Alright. You really want to be at full health for the death fight with the cross, because you cannot stun lock him. That's okay. You're gonna want that one from the multiplier. Alright. Oh no. Folks, this is the sort of luck I get in marathons. This fight is not one that you want to go off script, as it were. With the holy water, if you do it correctly, you can just keep him in place and not worry about the fight at all. With the cross, things get a little bit more dicey. Give it one more try. Give it the good old college try. Probably be a little bit smarter with my HP as a resource here. There we go. Haha, you want to give me a dagger drop game. That is very nice. Okay, now we've picked up a triple multiplier, so I will not be throwing any more crosses. Easy. Totally the way I wanted that to go. Alright, moving on to level 6. Approaching Castlevania and our final confrontation with Dracula. The opening of this level is a little bit different with the cross. Normally we won't have the holy water, which will allow us to pick up the stopwatch without losing any frames. I'm not sure that it's possible to not lose frames and grab this. Yeah, no, I just lost something there. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Go away, Dave. Cool. Honestly, the scariest part of this level is getting through that if you don't have the holy water. So we're not going to take the skeleton boost that we normally would to save some time here because I do not have the health to do so. And we are going to be grabbing the backup health here. Whenever we do races of this game, which on Thursdays, we haven't been doing them for a little bit, but we're doing them pretty regularly for a while. Hopefully we'll do them again. That health is a big determining factor in a race because it's a bunch of seconds lost, but it's also a big buffer on the Dracula fight and letting you take an extra hit. So it's a really spicy moment in races when you get to the clock tower and it's like two people are really close. Some of the best speedrunning moments. Alright, good pattern, good pattern. A little bit early on my hit there. I was trying to get that critical hit where you take damage at the same frame that you give it. Oh no. Alright, we're gonna get one extra cycle at least here. Wow, he's being a real jerk with these fast fireballs. Okay, on to Cookie Monster, our favorite blue guy. We're gonna sit here inside his hitbox that we're removing with our holy waters and just fire away at him. And that's time. I'm at 1641. Excellent. Went a bit overestimate there with the death and 5 on the death fight there. That's pretty rough, but we made it. So yeah, awesome. I'm really glad to be part of the Castlevania block in particular. This is the game that got me into speedrunning, and the Castlevania speedrunning community is, I think, the kindest, most like welcoming place I found on the internet. So really happy to be just a part of it. And I'll be back again for the end of the Castlevania block, I believe, with a Rondo of Blood run. There might be, I think there's actually somebody after that too. No? Alright. Well, there's some great runs coming up from Aphotic Cthulhu. He's doing 2 and 3, and then we're going to get, I think, the event I'm most hyped for the entire weekend, and that's Laxus and Tin racing CB4. That's going to be amazing. So stay tuned. Lots of cool stuff coming up.